Have you ever wondered why, as people grow older, some prefer the peace and solitude of being alone rather than participating in social gatherings? In today's video, we will delve into 3 compelling reasons why individuals between the ages of 65 and 80 might find it beneficial to limit their visits to others. Through the insightful stories of individuals like Mr. Wong and Mrs. Lee, you will learn about the importance of respecting personal boundaries and how leading a quieter, more independent lifestyle can contribute to greater happiness and peace. Stay with us until the end, as we share valuable lessons that could change the way you approach your social interactions during your golden years, ensuring they remain meaningful and fulfilling. Before we begin, I would greatly appreciate it if you could like this video. Your support helps me continue to share the valuable lessons about aging with others. If you haven't subscribed yet, I encourage you to subscribe and hit the bell icon so you won't miss any of my future videos. And if you enjoy this video, please comment number 1. If you feel it didn't meet your expectations, comment number 0, and I will work hard to create even better content for you. Now, let's dive into the discussion. Mr. Zhang, now in his 60s, has found great comfort in the peacefulness that solitude offers. Over time, he has embraced the quiet moments of being alone, not just as restful pauses, but as moments of restoration. When he feels the need to stay home, he listens to his instincts and chooses the peace of his own space over the chaos of the outside world. On days when he's eager for some activity, he enjoys going out for exercise, letting the fresh air and physical movement energize him. Even when friends or acquaintances reach out to meet up, Mr. Zhang often prefers to gather at a local cafe or restaurant rather than host people at his home. This shift in his social habits has certainly caught the attention of those around him. A relative once remarked, "He used to be so warm and welcoming. Why has he become so distant?" Reflecting on this, Mr. Zhang shared that aging brings about significant changes, not just physically, but also emotionally and socially. As we grow older, our perspectives shift, and things that once seemed important can fade into the background, creating space for new priorities. In his younger years, Mr. Zhang thrived on the energy and excitement that came from frequent social gatherings and interactions. But as the years passed, he felt more drawn to a quieter, simpler life. Today, he finds joy in small, meaningful activities that fill his days, savoring a cup of tea, tending to his garden, or spending quality time with his family. Over the years, he has gradually distanced himself from the social scene, choosing to step back from relationships that no longer feel authentic or fulfilling. He now understands that not everyone who crosses our path is truly a friend. Some people are simply acquaintances, their presence fleeting and superficial. For Mr. Zhang, it is far more rewarding to spend time alone than to engage in relationships that lack depth and sincerity. He has learned to appreciate the solitude that allows him to stay in tune with his own routines, habits, and preferences, rather than constantly adjusting to meet the needs and expectations of others. This preference for solitude is not unique to him. Many older adults find themselves similarly inclined, preferring the peace and predictability of their own company. As they age, they often feel less compelled to visit others or partake in social activities that once seemed essential. For many, the effort required to maintain these social ties can become more of a burden than a source of joy. Instead, they choose to focus on what truly brings them happiness and contentment, even if it means spending more time alone. There are 3 primary reasons why this preference for solitude is not only normal, but also healthy. Number 1, visiting can be disruptive. There are times when we believe we are welcomed, only to later realize that wasn't the case. This uncomfortable and often awkward realization is something that Mr. Wong had to confront. leading to a valuable lesson about social boundaries. Mr. Wong's story serves as a poignant example of the fine line between friendly intentions and overstepping personal boundaries. It all began when Mr. Wong, a man who enjoys the company of others but often finds himself alone, bumped into an old high school classmate while taking a walk in his neighborhood. The chance encounter revived pleasant memories, and in a moment of nostalgia, the classmate invited Mr. Wong over for drinks. For Mr. Wong, who had been longing for companionship, this invitation felt like a blessing, and he eagerly accepted. What started as a single visit soon turned into a regular weekend ritual. However, as the visits continued, Mr. Wong began to notice subtle changes in the atmosphere. What initially seemed like warm hospitality began to feel slightly strained. The warmth of his friend's wife's smile began to fade, and the children, once playful and curious, now seemed to retreat to their rooms more quickly. Despite these signs, Mr. Wong, eager to revive the old friendship, continued his visits, unaware that his presence was causing discomfort. The turning point came when his classmate, with gentle yet firm honesty, addressed the situation. "Mr. Wong," he said, "we've enjoyed having you over, but my wife and children are starting to feel that their privacy is being invaded. They're not used to having guests every weekend, and it's starting to affect our family time." This moment of realization hit Mr. Wong hard. He suddenly understood that what he had perceived as a warm invitation had, in fact, been a polite gesture, more of a momentary courtesy than an open invitation for frequent visits. His good intentions had inadvertently caused discomfort. Mr. Wong's experience serves as a valuable reminder. Even when our intentions are positive, it's essential to respect the boundaries of others. What we might interpret as hospitality could, in fact, be a formality, a polite nod to past connections, not necessarily an open invitation for ongoing visits. His story underscores the importance of being aware of social cues, understanding the nuances of invitations, and communicating openly. By being attuned to others' needs and comfort levels, we ensure that our presence is not just tolerated but truly appreciated. Mr. Wong's experience teaches us the importance of respecting personal space and the delicate balance required to maintain healthy, respectful relationships. Number 2, frequent visits can lead to unintended trouble. Have you ever experienced or heard of a situation where a simple, offhand remark spiraled into a significant misunderstanding? Mrs. Lee's story is a striking example of how something that seems trivial and innocent at first can ultimately lead to unexpected and potentially damaging consequences. Mrs. Lee is a friendly and sociable woman who deeply values her relationships with her neighbors and friends. She enjoys engaging in conversations, often visiting them to catch up on their lives. However, during one of her regular chats, she made a seemingly harmless and lighthearted comment about her daughter-in-law. She didn't think much of it at the time, as it was just a passing remark made in the spirit of good-natured gossip. To her surprise, this comment somehow found its way back to her daughter-in-law, and the consequences were far more severe than she could have ever anticipated. The remark, which Mrs. Lee had intended as something casual and inconsequential, was taken completely out of context. The way it was retold by others caused it to appear as though she had been critical or dismissive of her daughter-in-law. This misunderstanding led to tension and a strain in their relationship, something Mrs. Lee had never envisioned when she made the comment. It was a painful realization for Mrs. Lee to come to terms with, that her casual, frequent visits and overly relaxed conversations might have unintentionally sown seeds of discord. The experience became a deep learning moment for her. She reflected on her social habits, realizing that sometimes her interactions, though meant to be friendly, could have unintended consequences. She understood the importance of being more mindful of her words and how easily they could be misunderstood or distorted. Mrs. Lee recognized that while social interactions and friendships are essential to maintaining a sense of community, they also require a balance between openness and discretion. In response to this, Mrs. Lee made a conscious effort to be more thoughtful in her conversations. She now avoids making comments about others, particularly when discussing sensitive topics. She focuses instead on keeping the conversation positive, steering clear of discussions that might lead to misunderstanding or potential conflict. Mrs. Lee's story is a powerful reminder of the impact our words can have, and how careful we must be when communicating with others. Once spoken, words can never be undone, and a small comment can snowball into something much larger. Through this experience, Mrs. Lee has learned the importance of striking a harmonious balance in her social interactions. By keeping her conversations respectful and uplifting, she has been able to restore the peace in her relationships. Her story teaches us all the value of thoughtfulness, restraint, and the power of choosing words carefully. If we all adopt a similar approach, we can create an environment that is harmonious and free of unnecessary misunderstandings. Number 3, differences in economic status can create social strain. In today's fast-paced and increasingly materialistic society, many individuals are drawn to a lifestyle of independence and solitude. This trend, though often seen as a way of avoiding discomfort, is also largely influenced by the disparity in economic status that exists not only between different neighborhoods, but even within the same community or family. The financial differences between individuals or families can create underlying tensions, even when they interact regularly. For instance, imagine a family with considerable wealth frequently socializing with a family of more modest means. While the wealthier family might have no intention of flaunting their financial success, their lifestyle can inadvertently highlight the economic disparity between them and the other family. The size of their home, the cars they drive, their vacation habits, and other material markers of success can serve as constant reminders of the less affluent family's financial limitations. Such differences, though not intentionally harmful, can lead to feelings of inadequacy, envy, and even resentment on the part of the family with fewer financial resources. Over time, these emotions can create psychological strain, making the less affluent family feel diminished or excluded from the social circles they once enjoyed. This strain can negatively affect their relationships, causing awkwardness or discomfort during social interactions. In addition to these feelings, there can also be a tendency for individuals to measure their self-worth against the material wealth of others. This mindset can lead to constant comparison, fostering a sense of dissatisfaction and perpetual yearning for more. When we start to equate our personal value with financial success, it detracts from our happiness and contentment. Regardless of how much one already has, the pursuit of ever more material possessions can make it feel like we're never truly satisfied. As a result, many people, especially in such circumstances, opt to withdraw from these interactions. By choosing a life of greater independence, focusing on their personal growth, and minimizing their social interactions, they avoid the pressures of comparison. This shift towards solitude and self-reliance allows them to cultivate a deeper sense of inner peace and fulfillment, free from the need to measure their worth against others. As we grow older, particularly when we enter our 60s or beyond, this desire for a more independent lifestyle becomes even more pronounced. After years spent working hard, raising families, and building a career, we often come to realize that true happiness isn't found in material wealth or social standing. Instead, it resides in the intangible aspects of life: peace of mind, self-acceptance, and living authentically. At this stage, many individuals prioritize the richness of their inner lives over the superficial markers of success, finding satisfaction in relationships, health, and the joy of simply being. Number 1, health. Imagine reaching the age of 60 without encountering any major health issues. Such a milestone is a rare and precious gift. Health, after all, is one of the most vital aspects of life, especially as we age. It is the foundation upon which everything else is built. To reach 60 without serious health challenges is a remarkable blessing, one that reflects not only good fortune, but also years of diligent care and attention to one's well-being. Consider the case of Mrs. Lee, who, in her early 60s, had long neglected her health. Throughout much of her life, she had prioritized other aspects of her existence, from social engagements to career aspirations, while disregarding the importance of self-care. As a result, she began to experience frequent hospitalizations and significant health problems that placed a considerable strain on her family. Her health issues were not only physically taxing, but emotionally draining for her loved ones, particularly her children, who had to bear the brunt of the responsibility for her care. The turning point came when Mrs. Lee overheard her son expressing frustration over the amount of time and energy it took to look after her. This moment of realization struck her deeply, highlighting the emotional toll her health was taking on those she loved. In that instant, she understood how profoundly her physical well-being was impacting her family's dynamics, and she resolved to make a change. Over the course of the next 6 months, Mrs. Lee committed herself to a healthier lifestyle. She started making changes in her diet, began exercising more regularly, and incorporated stress management techniques into her routine. These adjustments had a dramatic effect on her overall health, leading to a significant improvement. Not only did she feel physically better, but the burden on her children was greatly reduced. Mrs. Lee's experience underscores a fundamental truth. As we age, good health becomes our most valuable asset, surpassing any material wealth or financial accumulation. When we neglect our health, we not only risk our own well-being, but also place a strain on our families, who may have to bear the emotional and financial costs of our illness. By prioritizing our health through proper nutrition, exercise, and regular checkups, we ensure that we can enjoy a higher quality of life while also easing the burden on those we love. In the end, health is the cornerstone of a fulfilling life. It is something we cannot take for granted, and it is something that grows more precious as we age. No matter how much wealth we accumulate, without good health, that wealth cannot be fully appreciated. Making health a priority is an investment in our own future and in the well-being of those who care for us. Number 2, family, success, and wealth, while highly regarded by many, can lose their true value when they come at the expense of the most important thing in life: family. The story of Mr. Tran serves as a poignant and powerful illustration of this harsh reality. From the outside, Mr. Tran's life seemed perfect. He was the epitome of success. His career was thriving, his wealth substantial, his social standing enviable. He had a beautiful wife, children who brought joy to his life, and a home that appeared to be filled with happiness. To those who looked at him from the outside, he had it all. However, beneath the glossy exterior of his seemingly perfect life, Mr. Tran was facing a crisis of his own making. He made a decision that would unravel everything he held dear. He engaged in an affair. This reckless choice, driven by momentary desires, proved to be disastrous for his family. The trust and love that had once bound his relationship with his wife were shattered. His wife, heartbroken and deeply betrayed by his actions, made the painful decision to leave him. She took their children with her, seeking a fresh start and a life free from the emotional scars left by Mr. Tran's infidelity. At the age of 60, Mr. Tran found himself alone, grappling with the profound emptiness of a life now devoid of his family. The luxurious possessions and social accolades that had once defined his success seemed utterly meaningless in the face of his family's absence. It was in this moment that he came to a stark realization. Despite his material wealth, he had sacrificed the most valuable and irreplaceable treasures of all, his family. The pain of knowing that his actions had irreparably damaged his family overshadowed any sense of accomplishment he had previously felt. What good is wealth if it cannot buy the love, trust, and companionship of those closest to you? Mr. Tran's experience offers a profound lesson about the nature of true happiness and fulfillment. It reminds us that the foundation of a fulfilling life is not built upon material possessions or external accolades, but on the relationships we nurture and cherish, particularly those with our loved ones. Family, as Mr. Tran painfully learned, is irreplaceable. The bonds we share with our family members are what give our lives meaning, security, and joy. When these bonds are broken, no amount of money or status can restore the sense of loss. This story serves as a powerful testament to the values of honesty, respect, and fidelity. It highlights how neglecting these core principles can lead to deep regret and sorrow, leaving us longing for what we once had. Maintaining harmony within our families is of paramount importance. Honoring the commitments we make to our loved ones is not just about preserving relationships. It is about ensuring that our lives are filled with true fulfillment, love, and peace. The lesson here is clear. We must protect what truly matters and avoid trading our emotional well-being for fleeting successes. Number 3, financial stability and mental outlook. As we enter our 60s, maintaining a positive mental outlook is not just beneficial, but essential for our overall well-being and quality of life. Numerous studies have shown that emotional health is intricately linked to physical health, and that a positive mindset can significantly reduce the incidence of chronic illnesses. It also helps speed up recovery from illness, illustrating the profound impact our mental state has on our bodies. Nurturing a positive outlook can therefore have far-reaching effects on our health, reducing stress, enhancing decision-making abilities, and improving our relationships. Stress, a common affliction in today's fast-paced world, has been proven to have harmful effects on the body. It can increase susceptibility to various illnesses and impair vital bodily functions. However, when we maintain an optimistic attitude, we counteract the negative impacts of stress, strengthening our immune system and becoming more resilient to health challenges. This mental fortitude not only improves our physical health, but also enhances cognitive functions. A positive mindset fosters a more balanced and proactive approach to problem solving, enabling us to navigate life's complexities with greater ease and confidence. Moreover, a positive outlook has a profound impact on our relationships. When we embrace optimism, we communicate more effectively, exhibit greater empathy, and foster stronger mutual support with those around us. As we reach the age of 50 and beyond, it becomes increasingly crucial to focus on our happiness and cultivate a sense of gratitude for the many accomplishments we have achieved. This period of life provides an invaluable opportunity to reflect on our personal journeys, celebrate the milestones we've reached, and take pride in the experiences that have shaped us. Living with a positive mental outlook in our later years allows us to create a more meaningful and joyful second half of life. It invites a deeper sense of fulfillment and contentment, as we learn to appreciate the simpler pleasures and embrace the changes that come with aging. as we shift our focus to well-being, happiness, and self-care. We can cultivate a lifestyle that promotes joy and resilience. One of the most important lessons in this phase of life is learning to be comfortable with solitude. While many fear the idea of being alone, it can be an empowering experience that allows us to reconnect with ourselves, reflect on our lives, and find inner peace. By developing this ability, we not only enhance our personal growth but also strengthen our ability to face the challenges that lie ahead with strength and resilience. Adopting a positive mindset also helps us approach aging with grace and confidence. It empowers us to age not with fear, but with a sense of purpose and fulfillment. This mental shift allows us to live not only longer lives, but better ones, filled with health, happiness, and meaningful relationships. Closing reflection. As we conclude today's discussion, I encourage you to pause and reflect on the key lessons we've explored. What stood out to you the most? Was it the importance of setting and respecting boundaries in relationships? The impact of our actions on the lives of those we love? Or perhaps the power of embracing solitude and developing a positive outlook as we grow older? Whatever resonates with you, I invite you to think about how you can incorporate these insights into your daily life. We'd love to hear from you. Take a moment to share in the comments below one thing you've learned from this video and how you plan to apply it moving forward. Your thoughts and experiences may inspire others on their own journeys. If you enjoyed this video, let us know by leaving a comment below. And remember, your support is what allows us to continue creating valuable content. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Together, we can continue to learn, grow, and embrace every stage of life with enthusiasm and wisdom.